Good morning. Welcome to the poolside chat. Hey, there's a verse that came up that I wanted to talk about. It's not that the question was on the question was not on the verse, but the question was about what is the power of the gospel? What does that mean? And I guess it brought back to mind what gets people to Jesus. Is it like flashy presentation? Hey, I'm really glad you're here. Let's go learn about Jesus. Is it jokes and tricks? Is it a shtick? Or what is it? And this was kind of a question I had long ago. There was a trend, and I hope it's not there anymore. I don't know, but there was a trend that if you wanted to be a youth pastor in a Baptist church, you had to be young, you had to be energetic, because that's how you attracted kids to church and to Jesus. And I used to always wonder about this. So what is this power that we talk about? And we read to you Romans 1:16. Romans 1:16, it says, and this talks about the power of the gospel. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes. Read that again. Not ashamed, for I'm not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes, first to the Jew, then to the Gentile. The gospel is the power of God. Look. What does that mean? The gospel is the power of God. So, it doesn't have to do with fancy words. I mean, even Paul himself said, let me see if I can find this. 2 Corinthians, I want to say it's 11. But 2 Corinthians, Paul himself says that he is not a man of eloquent words. Let me see. I should have looked this up. I don't see it right off the bat. But Paul said, I am not an eloquent speaker. I don't say fancy words. I'm not skilled in rhetoric or debate. I just have the gospel of Jesus Christ, and it's the power of the gospel to explain God. So what is the gospel? What is it that attracts? What is this power? See, it goes back to that aha moment, and I think that's what I've been talking about, people coming back to church, kids, this new generation. It's that we get out of the way, people, to let God's message get through, or to let the power of the gospel have its good effect. So the gospel is that Jesus Christ, God in the flesh, came to make a way back to him. We say to be reconciled to him, so that God accepts us and we have that life with him. And that's through the birth, death, resurrection, life of Jesus Christ, that he lived and died for us so we could be reconciled. So, and that's what it means, to all who believe. When you believe God, when you believe that message, when you give your life, because you can't do it on your own, to him, when you admit you're apart from God because of sin, that's the power of the gospel. It says God draws to him those he will. That's the power of the gospel. When we have that choice, that chance, that opportunity to accept and do, that's the power of the gospel. And that's what I wanted to share this morning. It's not eloquent words. It's not fancy talk. Even Paul himself, St. Paul, said, I am not a man of eloquent speech. But that way the power of the gospel can be shared through him by God himself. It's not tricks, it's not a shtick, it's not anything. But it's the power of the gospel. And I would dare say what I said a week ago, that all these young people are flocking back to church and God, is because we have gotten out of the way so that the power of the gospel can speak to them. So, Sunday morning, about 7 a.m., and I would encourage you today as you go to church, let's be reminded of the power of the gospel. And how that power can bring peace and reconciliation, relationship back between you and God. And let us go out and share that message with others. So guys, thanks for listening. I'm Pastor Chris. Keep the questions coming. Although I think I'm going to do something for the next few weeks. A little bit different. Just to mix it up. Keep the questions coming. There's something I want to talk about today that a lot of people are talking about. I'll share more Wednesday. And I think I'll start it Saturday. But keep the questions coming. And go out there and let people see and tell people about the power of the gospel. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble at FL Compass Church. Now on Instagram at FL Compass Church. Have a great rest of the weekend. Remember, it is Sunday, so go to church. And we'll see you Wednesday.